Hello, Shrewdness. Welcome back. I'm here with Prue and Chiz. We're going to do our Kansas City Royals update for you for this week. We got some fun things to update you with, but I don't want to drop anything before we get there. So we're going to take it slow and get you there. But there's movement. We've got some roster moves. We've got some players doing really well. We still have the main team not doing real well. So just not any surprise to anybody that watches any games, but no team in the American League has fewer runs this season than the Royals. We're actually fewer than the White Sox, which is the other terrible team in baseball. But they've scored
terrible.
or fewer runs in 9 of their last 11 games. But I think I can see a white light. I'm going to turn it over to Chisholm here. Please tell us there's some hope on the horizon.
There is some hope. I will say that this team has been kind of so far the definition of mediocrity. And I don't want to it's not all bad, but it's when you have excellent pitching and really bad hitting, it equals mediocre.
Yeah.
So that is kind of where they're at. They've scored, like Dex said, the fewest runs in the American League. The good news is they've also given up the fewest runs in the American League. So that combination is
helpful. If you're going to not score, might as well not allow anything. Makes it more interesting.
For some super exciting games.
It makes for, if you like old school pitchers duels like I do, back in our day when they played defense and pitched.
That's right.
That's the kind of team we're looking at. But there've been a lot of movement this week. It's like the Royals said, okay, it's time to either make a move or not. And I think a lot of that's due to the Detroit Tigers are tied for the best record in the major leagues. They are now 5 games up on the Twins and Cleveland as of tonight on the 26th, and 6 games up on Kansas City. So Kansas City is actually the third wild card if the playoffs were to start today. And today is the exact third of the season mark. So we are now 1/3 in. Teams kind of know what they are.
Yeah.
If the season stopped today, the AL Central would have 4 teams in the playoffs.
That's crazy.
So
I think it's exactly what last year was too. I want to hit one little thing on Detroit real quick, just because it's an amazing stat. The Tarek Skubal, who we regularly talk during our baseball portion of our weekly episode. Oh my God, the game he had last night, 13 Ks, complete game shutout, under 100 pitches, 99 pitches. So he first time in 25 years.
So when you get 13 Ks and under 100 pitches, that is...
It's unbelievable. In a complete game shutout. So he walked 13 Ks. I think
and you just said something
that's
complete game. I didn't know we still use that term in baseball anymore.
What is that? Is that a stat? Yeah. Well, frankly, shutout implies a complete game, which is also something you don't hear about anymore, because it's always like 6 shutout innings. But when we grew up, a shutout was its own thing. I mean, all 9, and you pitched them all. It was a bunch of zeros.
To pitch the whole game.
Wow, dude.
Yeah,
I'm doing some quick math. Doing some quick math. He threw 94 pitches, 72 strikes. That's less than a ball per batter.
Wow. That is some quick work, man. That's getting ahead.
That's crazy.
I'm going to mow you down.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he's doing.
Destroyed them. So I just wanted to highlight that because, again, anything that happens every 4 times in a century, that's worth bringing up on the episode.
You got to bring it up.
One more reason why Detroit's doing phenomenal, and that's why Tarek Skubal won Triple Crown last year.
And that's why the division's so brutal. And I got to say, though, even though we're mediocre right now, we can't feel bad. We're in the last wild card spot right now, and the offense has done nothing.
Yeah.
A couple stats I want to throw out for you guys. The Royals have 12 wins where they've scored 3 runs or less.
That's a lot.
That is 3 more than the next best team in baseball.
Yeah.
So
that's pitching.
The Astros and Giants have 9 wins, scoring 3 runs or less. The Royals have 12 wins, scoring 3 runs or less. Today, Michael Lorenzen got touched up pretty bad. He did not have a good start. But in the first third of the season, it was the first time a Royals pitcher allowed more than 5 runs.
Wow. That's the first time?
A Royal starter. That is phenomenal.
That's incredible.
So when you look at the kind of production that they've been getting out of that starters, they just have to get some runs. And what they've done this week, thankfully, is they've listened. And I like to think that I contributed somewhat to this, but now
Well, they're for sure listening to the shrewdness. They're for sure listening to the shrewdness. Why don't you go ahead and go through our history and why we're saying this?
And a brief aside, if I could get serious for a second. Our long national nightmare is now over. Hunter Renfroe, God rest his soul, has been DFA'd by the Kansas City Royals. After we skewered him one final time last week here on the show on the Shrewdness, I feel like management finally said, fine, we have to do something. The Shrewdness has brought the fan base to a fever pitch. And
the Shrewdness has spoken.
We're getting so many calls, getting so many emails, getting some handwritten letters.
There's signs in the outfield.
We have so many things.
We have to do this. There's nothing else we can do. They DFA'd Hunter Renfroe, and I hate to see anyone DFA'd, but
well, except
in the case of Hunter Renfroe, I'm a little happy. I'm not gonna
make an exception.
Yeah,
make an exception.
He could go home and cry himself to sleep on his cash pillow. So I don't think he's hurting. He'll probably get picked up by someone who sees something there, but no home runs through a third of the season out of your power hitting right fielder. Just wasn't going to cut it anymore. So they did bring up Nick Lofton in a corresponding move. Nick Lofton, who is the Lucy
Charlie Brown football.
He is the Lucy of the Royals minor league organization. High round pick. Always kills it at AAA, and you're just like, man, maybe we should bring up Nick Lofton. And so they brought up Nick Lofton. I will give him props. His first start, he went 1 for 4 with a double, so we're not going to bag him too much. And hopefully he can translate this time and not be a quadruple A player, because we definitely need some bats. And today,
fifth time's a charm.
Today they actually started Nick Lofton in left, and another call up to the big club, John Rave. And for those of you who are Royals minor league fans like me, you've seen John Rave for a while. He's 27 years old. He's always been Mr. Consistency in the minors. He's one of those dudes that's not flashy, but he puts up good numbers. So, he has earned it for sure, and he earned it the hard way, and I'm glad to see him up. He started in right field today. He got so close to getting his first hit. He had a bunt. I thought it was a bunt single down the third base line. It was brilliant. He caught him off guard, and they called him safe, and his family was up in the suites. They were all celebrating, going nuts, and then they challenged the call and overturned. So his first major league hit was taken away by replay. But hey, now you got a guy. Rave's not a big power hitter, but he is a good average guy. He does everything pretty well. He can't be worse than Hunter Renfroe. Please mark this so that I do not have to eat this in a couple months. But he can't be worse than Hunter Renfroe. And if I'm honest, I hope John gets his hit pretty quickly, because I don't think John's going to be up at the big club too long.
Why do you say that, Chisholm? Who else would possibly take his spot?
I mean,
is there anyone else that could be there?
Maybe.
Are they calling back up MJ?
There's so much bat talent down in the minors. I don't know. It's a question of who's going to come up next.
Which one?
They just sent to bring up Rave, by the way, they sit down Kevin Biggio, who, unsurprising to most of us, has struggled mightily at the plate, is kind of he's a Swiss Army knife that they've played in a lot of different places. He's a good defender. He's a smart player. He just can't hit.
He's just a dull knife. He's a dull knife.
He's a dull knife.
Driver. It just doesn't work.
And when you're scoring less than 3 runs a game, you got to have bats. So hopefully Rave can hit some while he's up. We all know that I think it's June 15th is the magic date.
Well, it floats around. I've heard anywhere from June 2nd on. It's kind of a buy at bats, buy games, buy. It's weird. It's a floating number. I tried to find the exact date earlier today for this show. I could not find the magic date.
It does. It has something to do with how much of the major league season they play. So we at the Shrewdness believe that it's only a matter of time before we get to see Jack and his power bat up in the majors. He got called up to AAA like we predicted, and he has henceforth demolished AAA pitching. He's actually hitting better in AAA than he was in AA.
And he was killing it in AA.
He was killing it in AA. So now since he got called up to AAA this week, he had 5 home runs in 6 games.
That's a pretty good week.
Yeah,
5 home runs in 6 games, which is pretty good.
I
Were
think
those
he had
just the like kind of high fly ball that just kind of carries out?
Just
Barely.
barely squeaked over the fence. They're
Barely.
like freaking missiles.
100 feet past the wall. It's like,
Right.
what?
It's like no doubters. So that puts him in 44 games in the minors this season in AA and AAA. He's got 14 home runs, 53 RBIs. So
that leads
you're
the entire
projecting
minors, by the way. It leads the entire minors, all of them.
if you're
It
projecting that over a season, not that he's going to have 150 RBIs in the majors.
Not going to say he's not.
That's what it would project to, and it would project to 42 home runs. I would
nice.
take that in the lineup right now. Now the question, the big issue is still out there. Jac's a first baseman.
Yeah.
What do you do with the first baseman when you have Pasquantino, who's actually coming on? He's the only guy hitting in the lineup right now. He's now brought the average over 250. He's had a couple home runs this week. He's actually hitting again. So something's got to give here. And, the thing that perplexes me is he continues to just play first base at AAA. So either they're planning on bringing him and platooning him, which seems like a waste to do.
That'd be horrible.
Why not just give him his at-bats at AAA and let him develop more if he's going to play every day? Or there's something they're figuring out. I don't imagine they would be thinking about, they need Pasquatch's bat plus Jac's bat.
Yeah, they need both of them. You don't replace. I think he has to DH. One of the two is going to be in the DH and first base.
I think you're right. And what that means is Salvi is going to.
Well, Salvi or Fermin, one of the two is going to be losing at bats each game.
Both of them.
But frankly, Salvi's not playing as well yet. Maybe he needs more rest.
No, he isn't. Although he did have a home run today, so hopefully he's coming out of his slump.
Was it today? He had his 3rd or 4th?
He had one today. I think it was his 4th.
Yeah, he went 3 for 5 the other day too.
He's hitting the ball hard and he's starting to come out of the slump. He and Pasquantino are both coming out of the slump.
Yeah,
the problem
is good.
Bobby's going into a slump. He has had a really bad week, especially by Bobby Witt's standards. So they just can't seem to get it all clicking at the same time. And it's, they need more consistent bats, because when you get past the 5-hole, and right now, I've joked, these guys laugh at me because I've said it, but it's true. If you got to pick the offensive MVP for the Royals right now, it's Maikel Garcia.
Yeah, he's still doing it.
Maikel Garcia. Okay. That's crazy. When that is your offensive
that
MVP
is the guy.
Right now.
If you would have asked us 2 months ago, who would we say is the offensive MVP other than Bobby Witt in late May? No way we would have come up with his name. No way.
There's no way.
Maikel Garcia. It would have been Jonathan India, Asquatch.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Melendez.
I might have picked Isbell.
Yeah, Isbell would probably be ahead of that.
Right?
It wouldn't be Maikel Garcia. So I hope that he's just turned a corner, and I hope that's where we are now. I hope there's the new normal for us.
I got to say, I'm impressed with his at-bats.
Hey,
he seems to be, he's taking pitches. He's hitting line drives. He's not trying to muscle up. He's hit gaps. So there's a lot to like about Maikel Garcia. But when you look at the lineup, Jonathan India has not been anything close to what he should have been at this point. He's hitting 227. Bobby's now under 300. He's 293. Pasquatch is now up to 258.
That's up like 70 points, by the way. So that's why that's
a massive. Yeah, he was hitting like 170 something. So, and then you got Garcia, and literally after that, it is just. Waters is hitting 280, but it's not an impactful 280. Let's be honest. Like he's getting the 2-out singles. It's not like a clutch. Massey's a black hole. And then anything they've had in the corner outfield has just been nothing.
Yeah, I think his days are numbered. And speaking of, we still have the other corner outfield spot that would be helpful. Because, I mean, is it Drew Waters? I don't know. I don't think so.
I think that what they're going to say is like, hey, we can deal with if we could put if Lofton's serviceable in the outfield,
Yeah.
and we can
And
do
Isbell
Waters
can cover
in
a
the other
lot
one,
of ground. I'm trying to get
then,
Jack out there.
Right? I would love to see Jack out there. There's something that evidently is just not clicking because they're not willing to put him out there. It seems like if you were going to put him out there, he'd be out there every night at Omaha.
Yeah, that is what I would
And
think. You want to get your reps there instead.
Right? He's consistently at first base. So I think that the Royals are known to make some shrewd moves, and I'd like to see them make a shrewd move here to get another bat. They were talking today on the broadcast about a trade that they made a couple years ago with the Twins. Dex, you're not going to like this as a Twins guy too, but they traded Michael A. Taylor, who was like,
yep,
really, Michael A. Taylor,
like junk in a trunk,
and they got Evan Sisk and Cruz, the pitchers, two guys who have been Steven Cruz, who have been lights out for us.
Yeah,
this year out of the bullpen, both of them sub 2 ERAs. So if they can make some moves and hopefully get somebody to help the offense, that would be key. I do want to point out the Croatian sensation, Chris Bubic, who is just
keeps coming.
He continues to just defy what we've all kind of thought he was going to be.
Yeah. Not just good, he's pitching elite.
He is
top of the leaderboard elite stuff.
Yes. I mean, he's got a 1.45 ERA. He's 5-2 in 68 innings, 70 strikeouts, and a 101 whip. Like, that is, I'm not going to say Cy Young, but
did you just say cyyoung.com, homesofthebest.com?
I'm just saying the Croatian sensation, if he keeps this up, he's going to have to be at least whispered as a Cy Young candidate moving
Cy
forward.
Lugo was in the running last year, along with Cole Reagan, so they know where Kansas City is on a map.
Yeah,
they can still do it, and stats count.
They can.
Stats count everywhere.
They do. They do. But this is
last 5 starts. He's given up 2 runs and struck out 33.
Wow. Like,
he's gotten
better. I know he had 9 in his last start, which he ended up winning, I think, 2-1.
That's how we win.
Which is, he gave up a run in the top of the first and was probably sweating bullets the rest of the game. He's like, damn it, I gave up a run. I'm going to lose. And they managed to squeak one out and get him a W. But he's a lifetime 4.14 ERA guy. Now, granted, he hasn't started that much. He started in 2022 and got just shelled. He had a 5.58 ERA. But he's figured something out.
That's it.
And the opposing teams are talking about him now. And they know, like, they're going up against something when they go up against him. So hopefully he continues to do what he does. And if the pitching holds up like it has, the Royals are going to be in contention. Yes. It just got to have a couple bats. We saw in that Minnesota series. So I heard a funny stat in the Minnesota series. It was like the Twins and the Royals, who are both notoriously bad at scoring runs and really good at stopping the other team from scoring runs. And it was like the season series was like I think they've played 8 games now, 7 or 8 games.
They played quite a few,
Between the two of them, they'd scored like 18 and 16 runs respectively in those games. So every game between the Twins and the Royals is like 3-2. Like
2-1, 3-2. Yeah.
2-1, 3-2. Who can scratch out a couple runs and win? And that's the way the division's going to be, with the exception of Detroit, who just seems to be like got nitro in their veins right now.
Yeah.
Hopefully they have a spot where they slow down and the rest of the division catch up. But it's going to be, I think, Dex, you would say, a pig race between Cleveland, Minnesota, and Kansas City for those wild card spots.
Yeah. I'd call this more of a horse race since they're actually fast and good. AL West
that's
still
true.
A pig race.
That's true.
Pig race in the AL West.
They do have these are quality teams, and they are gonna
bumping into each other.
Right.
It's
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So, anything else you guys want to touch on the big club?
No, I think that's pretty good. I've been, again, hopeful that the pitching stays there.
I'm glad they're starting to shake it up. Like, I think we all knew last year they hung on to Renfroe too long and like tried to just give him every opportunity to succeed.
Well, that stupid
and this,
guaranteed money was what was
yeah,
keeping him on the team.
It hurts.
so it was good that they, it sucks that you essentially flush whatever it was, $3 million down the toilet.
But in big
But I'm glad somebody else
baseball,
is getting
big money
a chance.
baseball,
I'll tell you,
they don't care.
I'd rather see Nick Lofton every game, honestly. Like,
yeah.
At least I know what Hunter Renfroe is going to do. I don't know yet what Nick Lofton's going to do. And if Nick Lofton craps out like Hunter Renfroe, fine. We're only paying him pennies on the dollar right now. But I feel like they've also made some other stuff. So we're going to talk a little bit about the minors and what's happened. Don't have anybody to highlight, obviously, besides Jack, who had just a monster week. But a couple things have happened. John Gant. You guys remember John Gant? Dexter probably remembers him. He was a Twins pitcher. And before that, he pitched
I don't remember that
for
guy.
the Cardinals.
I think I remember him
John
on the Cardinals.
Gant.
So.
Yeah, and he has been hurt and on and off the injured list. When he was with Minnesota, he was pretty much hurt the whole time, Dex. I think he only pitched like half a season or
That's
something.
probably why.
But the Twins got him in a trade. They traded J.A. Happ to the Cardinals for John Gant and Evan Sisk. And ironically, now both Sisk and Gant are on the Royals. Gant has been assigned this last week. They signed him, and he's at Omaha. So he's a right-hander. If you look at his history, he's not great, but he's pretty good. His numbers are 3.89 ERA. He's got a 24-26 record with a 3.89 lifetime ERA. That's solid. It'll play. Question is, can he come back from the injuries? So he's now in Omaha. So he's kind of knocking on the door. They also have sent Sam Long, who did not start the year well, but he is now on a rehab assignment in Omaha. So another left-handed arm to potentially come out of the bullpen. And then Rich Hill, 45-year-old Rich Hill, who is the potential comeback story of the year.
Something like that.
Did an Arizona start a couple weeks ago through 4 innings, no hit ball, struck out 8, and his fastball is topping out at 89. And they have now put him, he is slated to start an assignment at Omaha. So they've got a couple veterans that they're going to be testing the waters with in AAA ball. Now, we don't need pitching necessarily at the major league level. However, when you see what's happened with the injuries lately, you could always use pitching. The other thing they've done is Kyle Wright, who we've talked about many times on this show.
This one's an interesting one to follow because I think he's the one that has the most likelihood of kind of delivering an impact down the stretch, right? I mean, for the second part of the season, Kyle Wright had a track record, and we kind of got him for, I think, a bag of dill pickles because he had a torn. We already knew he was injured. We traded for an injured guy from the Braves. It was just upside. It was an upside-only trade. So seeing him get this start made me pretty excited.
Yes, and now he is now going to, as of yesterday, he was assigned to Double-A Northwest Arkansas. So there's 3 pitchers that are veterans that all have a pretty good track record that are now coming up through the minors. We're going to keep an eye on for sure. So that there's some potential help there that's coming.
Good.
And like I said, if we have to, we don't really need the pitching, but the potential to have, I mean, hey, if these guys make decent starts, you could always bundle some stuff and trade for bats and who knows what, right?
Bundle-a-rooski-doo. Let's get some bats.
Nah, I'm not saying that.
Is there ever not a need for arms in the majors? No. Like, everybody always needs arms. So,
absolutely,
I like what they're doing. They're taking low risk chances here on some veterans in the minors. Let's see how they do. If any of them pan out, you've got a guy who could come in long relief. Who knows? Maybe using the bullpen, or maybe you could think about a trade. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But we all know we need a bat. We all know we need a bat. Jack is the most obvious bat. How do you get Jack in a lineup? I think you might be right, Dex. It's probably, or Prue, can't remember what you said. Probably DHing him.
Yeah.
You probably DH Jack. You probably put Vinny at first. Salvi catches most games, and maybe every third or fourth game he gets the day off, which he's not going to like, but he gets the day off, and you get Fermin in there, and you hope that one of those corner outfielders comes through for you, and you got to run because everybody else is playing well. Second base, Massey probably needs to go too.
That's where Lofton can go, though. So I'd rather.
Yeah, Lofton's a second baseman.
Lofton could go there instead of a corner outfielder. You're right.
Yep,
you're right.
And I'm not opposed to just having Jack and whatever defense he can do. If it's because we gotta keep Pasquatch in the lineup the whole time.
I know
you have to. So there's
if you think about that lineup, okay, if you think about the fact that you could go Witt, Pasquatch,
Jack,
Salvi, Garcia,
it suddenly looks pretty good.
That's a pretty good lineup right there.
Yeah, by adding that if you get 40 home run guy in the middle, it suddenly looks way better.
Yeah, and if you get a half a shadow of what he was, Jonathan India to show up again, and Isbell keeps skiing him over his tips, like this team could score enough runs at that point, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
But it is not. We're not going to over. It doesn't matter what you could bring Jack up. You're not going to score 8 runs a game. Right, this is a team that's. I think its best case scenario is 4, 5, 6 runs a game.
Yeah,
if you could get that, you'll kill everybody with that staff. So that's what we need to be focused on, and let's hope the Royals management sees that and takes advantage of the opportunity in front of them.
All right, I need some Asbel Garcia update.
Asbel. You got to have an Asbel Garcia update. Although he is slowed, I will say the man is still fast. In 42 games, 38 stolen bases.
That's impressive.
So, that's a good quote, Chiz. Although he is slowed, he's still fast.
He is slowed, but he's still fast. And he's 38 stolen bases, so pacing 100 and a little over 100.
Yeah.
Which would be a pretty sweet minor league total to throw up there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I still love the fact that he has walked 20 times. He's been hit by the pitch 13 times, so that's 33 times on base for free, and only struck out 26. So he definitely is a contact guy. He's putting the ball in play. I want to see this guy. He's only 19. They're definitely not going to rush him for sure. But, man, I'd like to see him up at that next level to see how he can do, because he's still hitting over 300.
Yeah.
And why not? Let's see what old Asbel can do. So that's our Asbel
watch.
Asbel watch for sure.
Speed does not slump.
Speed never slumps, and we are a team that needs it. We can never have enough of it for sure.
All right.
And then, of course, I got to give
Matt Cronin.
Finish up. We got to give the Matt Cronin update. So Matt now has pitched in 15 games this year between Double and Triple-A. He's 2-0 with a 0.86 ERA, 21 innings pitched, 21 strikeouts, and a 1.10 whip. Bring him up. What are you waiting for?
Yeah,
how many high 90s lefties do you have up there? Come on.
Yeah.
Come on,
give
Seattle.
the man a shot.
That's right.
What else does he got to do?
They just need probably to tweak something. Kirby's up, so maybe Kirby's giving some good words up to the big club. Saying,
absolutely.
my buddy down there, Matty, we could probably use him. Lefty with gas. He's pretty good.
Well, you know what? It's really interesting too, because I track Matt every night. It's interesting to see who else is on his team, because I was looking at the rest of the staff, and if you're a Royals fan, there's quite a few guys that we've seen.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of fellow teammates that are ex-Royals. Yeah, Klein, if you guys remember Will Klein, Jackson Cower. Remember old Jackson Cower?
Yeah.
He's there. So he's got some ex-Royals on the team with him there. Jackson Cower, the lefty who never was for the
Never
Royals.
was.
No, the righty who never was. He was the one righty in that class that they drafted in 2018
KOWAR,
that never
right?
panned out. Right. KOWAR.
Yeah.
I did see
a great.
I did see, we talk a lot about one last fact before we go off. The Royals have to really do great at drafting and scouting, right? Because they're not going to have the money to beat. And today, with Rave coming up, the 2018 class has now had 9 members in the major leagues, which a good draft class for those of you who are wondering in the major leagues. If you could get 4 from a draft class in the major leagues to make the major leagues, that's considered a successful draft class.
Yeah.
So the fact that they have 9 from their 2018 that have made the majors in some way, shape, or form shows they had a heck of a draft. And that's, that comes to fruition. That was 18. It's 7 years later. This is when those guys kick in.
That also speaks to the quality of their coaching and development too.
Totally.
All the way through the system.
Right. So that development's key, and they've done a good job with it. That's how the Royals have to win, right? So they're actually facing another member of that class tomorrow. Brady Singer. Our old buddy Brady Singer is getting the start tomorrow against the Royals. It's going to be a weird deal. He actually, before the game today, they actually had a little tribute to him on the video board. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
He came out, tipped the cap, waved to everybody. Everybody loved Brady. He was a battler. But if you look at that draft class, listen to the first 5 rounds of it. Brady Singer, Jackson Cower, Daniel Lynch, Chris Bubich, Jonathan Bolin, Kyle Isbell, Austin Cox. All of those guys, their first 6-7 picks have all made the majors now. So
that's impressive.
That's a heck of a draft class right there. Cower was the only one that really hasn't panned out yet, but he still has pitched in the majors. So
yeah,
that's what the Royals got to do.
Ooh, sure. Brady Singer's first 5 starts of the year, he was 4-0. His last 5 starts, he's 1-3.
Yeah.
That
explains the Reds doing well at the beginning and not well now. Well, Hunter Green was out for a while too.
He's got a 4.88 ERA, and that is like perfect Brady Singer. I think his career ERA is like 4.50 or something. That's patent Brady Singer.
He allowed a 7 spot against Houston 3 starts ago.
Yeah, we only throw 2 pitches.
That's it.
It's pretty good to be able to have an ERA in the 4s. That shows the dude's a battler.
They should be able to recognize the pitching tomorrow and not be fooled by much of anything. You would think.
I would think Salvi should have a good game tomorrow. I'm just saying. I would think he should have a good game.
Either here or here. Here or here.
So he knows exactly how much that ball's going to break. He knows exactly where it's going to go, right?
Yeah.
It's one of 2 speeds and then one of 2 spots.
That's
right.
It.
Exactly.
All right. Well, anything else for the Royals update this week?
Got to find a bat.
So yeah, we got to
get some runs.
Yep.
Hats for bats. Need some hats for bats for sure.
At least they've called some people up and sent some people down. They're at least making roster moves now.
Shaking it out.
Exactly. Shake and bake, baby. Shake and bake.
Right? There's no reason not to. What are you going to do? Score 2 instead of 3? I mean, come on.
Exactly. I feel like we replaced the replacement players with replacements. So you're going to see if that stat is true. We're going to send you down and replace you and see. So, like you said, we can't do worse than minus 1.7 and minus 0.8. I mean, we can only improve. Just be a 0.
Right.
Be a 0 for a hero. But
we'll take zeros.
All right, Royals fans. Well, that's going to wrap up this week's episode for the Kansas City Royals update. Thank you so much for joining us. If you haven't already, follow, subscribe.
If you're a Royals fan, send it to another Royals fan.
That's right.
Let them know what's up, because there aren't a lot of really good, fun Royals podcasts out there. So, I mean, we jack around, but we know our stuff when it comes to the Royals. So
that's it.
Give a listen. We're going to give you some talk about the minors, what's going on there. We're going to talk about the pipeline. We talked about the draft class. I mean, we're going to talk about all that stuff because we love the Royals and we want to see them do well. And so subscribe to the channel. That helps our numbers. That helps us for sure. Please do that. Follow us on all the social media. We'd appreciate it very much.
Till next week, you know what you got to do. Just stay shrewd.
Tell a friend and stay shrewd.